What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Grow Family Network. Today what I want to talk about is bush everything. Bush beans, bush tomatoes, bush cucumbers, bush everything. If you're like me and I don't have a team of people around me, so you're a regular gardener, right? You're just a husband, you're just a wife, or you're just a single guy or single girl that's limited on time because it's only you have limited time, but you want a garden, but you don't have time to stake up all of this stuff, trellis all of this stuff. Maybe all you got is a few containers like this. Maybe these are all you have, and you feel bad because you're looking on YouTube and you're seeing everybody's growing all this stuff in these huge arches and these huge displays, and you feel a little bit intimidated. Today what I'm going to show you is I went into, check this out, it wasn't a nursery, it wasn't Walmart, Home Depot, it wasn't a garden center. I went into a hardware store, and they had a section where they usually have, they have their rat poisons, and then they have their tree sprays, a lot of stuff, but they had a seed aisle. And I was like, I wanted to get some seeds because I got an idea for my chicken yard that I got from a YouTuber, Edible Acres. So I was gonna just start throwing out mustard seeds. So say, okay, I get me some mustard seeds, throw them out, let them sprout, let my chickens out, let my chickens eat them, win-win. So I said, well, let me see what else they got. Because the prices were good, $1.75 for a quarter pound of seeds. This is a lot of seeds for $1.75. Then I saw something that I was like, they have that? That exists? Like, what have I been making all these fencing for and all this trellis stuff for? The first thing I saw was this. Bush sweet peas. I said, oh my God, the name of it is Little Marvel Bush Pea. I was like, it looks just like the regular peas I planted, but I don't have to trellis it. It's like, oh man, these are going to get planted. They're ready to get planted now. So now I gotta start figuring out where I want to plant these bush peas at. Then I saw these. If you know anything about beans, they love to vine, they love to run, and then you get, especially if you're gardening outside, you get problems with the grass encroaching into the garden space, and you can't really weed like you would want, and eventually the grass takes over and you got little beans inside of grass this tall. So now I found this bush, like bush cowpeas, like they got this stuff. So this is another one, right? So you have your bush peas, which is called Little Marvel Bush Pea. Then you have bush cowpeas. I didn't know cowpeas don't really run too much, but they do run a little bit. But these like peas have to be trellised. So to get some sweet peas, snow peas, or whatever you want to call them, to get them in a bush variety, especially for $1.60, you can't lose with that. Contender. Everybody knows about the contender bean. What about the contender bush bean, right? So that's what these are. Let me take one of these out. Y'all probably can see that good enough, right? Can you? This is basically, and these are basically, you can eat them dried like this, or you can, all beans, if they're tender and young, you can stir fry them. So then one of my dad's favorites from when we were young, he would always on Sundays, he would like buy beef meat and smother the beef meat, and he would always get those lima beans out the frozen section. So that's the reason why I eat lima beans today. That's probably the only reason that I like lima beans. And this is called thorough green bush lima bean. So that's 4 bush types of plants that you can actually, so far, I got more. This is 4 so far. These are the 4 that I got from the hardware store that you can just grow in pots. You don't even need a garden to grow these. These are 4 beans, and people growing these green beans and all this stuff, they grow these all the time, and they have them trellised up all the time. You want to do what they do, but you don't have the space. These are 4 bush types, and that's all I've been looking for. We did a video last year, and I talked about the perils of trellising. I talked about the perils of indeterminate tomatoes that would drive you insane up the wall. If you have 2 or 3 of them, you could do that all day long. When you have 15 of them, it's a recipe for disaster unless you got some help. So this is for my people that don't have the help, and a lot of us don't have the help. Because not many people like to get out and do what we do. So that's the reason why we have to find out. What I've learned from growing a few bush tomatoes last year is they're called determinate, and they once they grow up, fruit, put on all the fruit they're gonna put on, that's it, you can pull them out. So I was like, well, why people don't just grow them like that? And an easy way is to plant one month and then come back the next month or 3 weeks later and plant some more. That way you always have that crop that comes up. You can harvest those, get rid of that plant, put something else in its place without having to trellis for I don't know how many days. So let's get to some more bush stuff. I always go, if I find this kale, this is called blue scotch. I'm gonna put that in there for you. Come this way. All right, this is called blue scotch. Most of the time you find this dwarf. It's always blue scotch dwarf kale. And I'm like, I don't want the dwarf, I want just the regular one, but I want that variety. Every now and then you find that, but most of the time it's gonna be early in the season you're gonna find this. Later in the season, these are gone, and all you're gonna have is those dwarf ones. So one thing I started to get, this is called Oregon Spring tomato. It's a determinant. If you read on the back, this is how you figure it out. If you read on the back, right there it says determinate. Hope it's not moving too much for you, but that's a determinate variety. That means more so like a bush type. It's gonna grow up to a certain size, maybe the size of a tomato cage, and that's it. It's gonna start fruiting or flowering. Whatever fruit is set, that's what it's gonna do. After that, you can take it out. So gonna be a perfect one for me. Not many people in this family go crazy over fresh tomatoes, so I'm thinking about doing a little canning this year. Being that we finally got our kitchen installed, so it'll be a little bit easier for us to start saving some of this stuff. Freezing tomatoes are good. I still have some frozen tomatoes from last year. Bush, if you say, well, bush tomatoes are always like too small, this one is called the bush beefsteak, tomato bush beefsteak. I believe this is the variety that I had last year. I do believe, but I'm gonna grow it just because. So what I'm gonna do is, when the nursery gets theirs, I'm gonna go and get their bush tomatoes, and I'm gonna grow these to see if it's the exact same fruit, and then I'll know that I don't need to go buy their $2.40 transplants, that I can go and spend $1.79 right there. I can go and spend $1.79. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, and get about, I would say they got about 50 seeds in this pack, so I can get 50 tomatoes or tomato plants for the price that I pay for one at the nursery. Lastly, so yeah, let me just get this out the way. This is called come on, get into focus. This is called the burpless bush cucumber. Do you love me yet? Do you love me yet? Do you love me yet? Everything that you want, basically, everything tastes different. There's no such thing as maybe the indeterminate or the vining types taste better than the bush types. It's all gonna be preference. Some people are gonna like bush types more than the vining types, but each individual variety has its own uniqueness to it, as opposed to going to a store and finding something of whatever variety it is, right? They don't have at the store this variety, that variety. It's just, hey, get you some tomatoes or get you some onions. At your house is what you put down. Like, you get to tailor to your taste buds, to your needs. So just say you don't like the bush types. Hey, you got 4, 5, 6 other bush type things you can grow, and you'll just have one thing that you say, okay, well, I really like the vining type cucumber. The tomato, I can deal with the bush tomato flavor and not having all these other different colors that what like the black beauties and the crimson colors, all of those, right? So you can kind of deal with just give me some fresh tomatoes, I'm straight. I don't need all the crazy colors and all that stuff. So brandy wines and pink jubilees and the thousands of tomato varieties that they have. So if you want lima beans, they sell them in the bush variety. If you want contender beans, they got the contender bush variety. Everybody loves snow peas and green peas and sweet peas, whatever you like to call them. Can you believe they sell them in the bush variety? This is my first time seeing them. And also black-eyed peas. I call them black-eyed peas, but they got the bush variety of those too. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? They had a whole bunch of other stuff that was there that was bush varieties. I stopped there. I was like, well, that's all. I'm just gonna try that this year because I don't want to go into that garden attic phase where I just get all these things and then really don't put nothing out. I really want to put these down, so you only have so much space. If you have these, you in business. If you have a platform like this, like I got, check out our platform or container platform build video. That's why I showed you how to make this. You can actually put all your pots up here, and just in this space, you don't have to worry about anything in the ground. You got it off the ground to start with, and you could just start knocking them out with your bush varieties. So if you like this video, you gotta subscribe to us. If you like this video, you can share it out in your Facebook groups, on your Facebook pages. It doesn't matter. All we want to do is we want to get people growing their own food. If you want to succeed in gardening, why not? Hey, try me. I'm getting good at this, I'm telling you. But if you want to free yourself from the pressures of working those extra 4 hours a week, or working that extra 8-hour shift because you need the money and all you're gonna do is go buy food with it, you can take that extra day off of work and you can spend it in your garden growing food that's gonna keep you healthy, keep your kids healthy, and change your kids' palate. One thing I noticed is that kids start out, they're not gonna, especially coming out of a school system, they're not gonna want to try a lot of greens because the greens at school are so horribly nasty that you have to get these things and start incorporating them into juices and start changing their palates, changing their taste buds, and then they're gonna surprise you. They're gonna eat this stuff, they're gonna love this stuff, they're gonna ask you for this stuff. I promise you, I promise you. So hey, try some of these bush types. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it for today. Like I said, join us. It's gonna be a cool 2020 Gospel life. If I'm living, I'm gonna be growing. I want you to be growing too. Thank y'all for watching the Grow Family Network. And as always, grow, grow, grow. Peace.